BoogeyMan band coming round the bend. Is BoogeyMan band. Is BoogeyMan band.
Greetings and fellow fright fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is a spooky screenings on A Quiet Place Day 1. A woman named Sam finds herself trapped in New York City during the early stages of an invasion by alien creatures with ultra-sensitive hearing. Movie stars Lupita Nyong'o as Samira, Joseph Quinn as Eric, Alex Wolff as Ruben, Diamond Hatsu as Henry, and Schnitzel as Frodo. The story for the movie was done by John Krasinski and Michael Sarnowski, who also wrote the screenplay and directed the film. So this spooky screenings is a little bit late. I actually saw the movie almost a week ago, so I saw it on June 30th, which was the beginning of the heat wave here where I live in the Bay Area. And it was funny, we originally were just going to go see a regular screening of it, and when we got there to check in, they said that the air conditioning had gone out in the theater, and we were like, no, we're not, because even though it wasn't as hot as it got during the week, it was pretty hot still that day. It was still in the upper 90s. So we ended up getting bumped up to the XD screening, and we just had to wait like another 45 minutes for that one. And I'm so glad that we saw it on XD. So if you guys have followed my channel, you know that back in 2018 when the original A Quiet Place came out, I did a review of that one, and I gave that one a 5 out of 5. Same thing with A Quiet Place Part 2, which came out in 2021. It was supposed to come out in 2020, but because of the pandemic, it got pushed out. Both of those films are fantastic. Rewatched them right before going to see Day 1. I'm a huge fan of Lupita Nyong'o. I think she's just a terrific actress, and I was so excited to see her in this film because this film, you know, taking place when the alien invasion happens. We see a little bit of what happened on Day 1 in the town where the Abbott family lived at the beginning of Quiet Place Part 2, which is, I think, a terrific hook for that film to start, you know, on Day 1. And this one I was really intrigued by because it was going to be taking place in New York City, which I can only imagine how much more terrifying it would be. It was terrifying in a small town, but in a gigantic city, because there's constant noise, and these creatures have this ultra-sensitive hearing. Being in a place like New York is going to make sort of the first encounter with these things even more terrifying. But one thing I want to talk about right away is just how much I loved Lupita Nyong'o in this as the character of Sam. She's suffering from cancer at the beginning of the film, not to spoil too many things. And her companion is her cat named Frodo, which I thought was so cute, Sam and Frodo. And that cat is such a pivotal part of this movie and how much you are sort of on the edge of your seat in some of these more exciting scenes. Those two characters are established as best friends right away, and a field trip to the city is what sort of puts her smack dab in the middle of the invasion. And I don't want to spoil things for anybody. I know you could find out a lot about this film, and you know, by other mainstream YouTube critics. I'm not a critic, I'm just a film fan. I've never considered myself a critic, and I tried to do it for many years on this channel, and last year I was so glad that I kind of just sort of stripped that from you know, the videos that I do about movies. Going into this film, not knowing what to expect, I didn't listen to a lot of critics, I didn't read a lot of reviews, I just kind of wanted to go in this fresh. The movie, I think out of the three Quiet Place films, this one moved me the most. It really got to me and was very emotional, especially, you know, how it all wraps up. And a lot of that has to go to the amazing performances, and you're really just with two people. You're with Sam, Lupita Nyong'o's character, and Frodo, the cat. Don't want to forget about Frodo. But then also Joseph Quinn's character of Eric, who kind of shows up halfway through everything. So he's kind of like, he shows up in the second act. And you don't know a lot about him, but he kind of, you know, is led to Sam in a way. And at that point, they're kind of, even though to her, you know, she kind of doesn't want to be burdened with him there, they kind of have this friendship that develops over the course of this madness that's going on in New York City with these alien creatures attacking people. You really endear yourself to the characters in this film, and one thing for me being an animal lover, I just didn't want anything to happen to Frodo. And I was on the edge of my seat for many scenes in this film, and I thought the New York backdrop was just so well done and so well utilized. And I found out they didn't even shoot a lot of this in New York. They shot most of it in England. And this is the first Quiet Place film that's not directed by John Krasinski. This is directed by Michael Sarnowski. And I haven't seen Pig. I've heard great things about it. Of course, that film is with Nicolas Cage. I've heard great things about that, and I think so I have nothing to compare in terms of like his previous directorial effort in this one. But in terms of picking up the reins with what Krasinski has presented in the last two Quiet Place films, I think he does a terrific job. And there's some truly horrific scenes in this film, especially with the chaos that would happen if you have a vast amount of people and these creatures just picking people off one by one. There's some really great moments in this film that just really had my mouth, like, it had me gripping my armrest. It had me sort of moving around in my chair nervously because it's tense. And there's been some criticisms about the fact that this really doesn't sort of establish anything new about these creatures. I did hear that there were some things that were cut out of the film, so there were moments that were supposed to show us more, but I guess they decided to strip that back and make this more just the story of Sam and Eric and Frodo trying to get through this madness that is happening in New York City. And I think it works. I really liked it being a personal story. The strength of this film, the reason why I think this film hooked me so much, not just because of the amazing direction and the visuals, but it was the personal performances. You are with Sam. You understand that what she's going through internally with this disease that's slowly killing her. And then you have this huge event of these creatures coming down and taking over our planet and killing anything that makes a sound. And she's trying to navigate through this. And she has one sort of like goal through this whole thing. There was one motivation that got her to go on the field trip to New York. And people have said it. I don't want to say it because it was kind of a surprise to me when I saw it because I didn't know about it. And, you know, I went back and watched some of these other critics and they sort of give that away in their review. And I don't want to give that away, but yeah, I thought that was kind of, it made sense because if you were at this moment in your life where you're dying or you are going to die, wouldn't you want something that was going to bring you joy or bring you back to a time that made you happy? And that's sort of what the theme was for this, for me. And I can't say enough great things about the performances. Of course, the cat is adorable, and I'm a huge cat lover because I have 3 cats of my own. I love animals, and I'm really nervous when an animal is in a horror film. As much as I love horror films, I still remember the horror that I went through when I was 14 years old and I saw The Fly 2. And what happened to Martin Brundle's dog in that movie still traumatizes me to this day. So, you know, again, I just am always nervous when there's an animal in a horror film, but the film is great. I've heard some people don't like it as much as the other two. I like this film because it was different and showing us something we haven't seen in the other 2 films. The other 2 sort of being set in the country or kind of in isolation. This one being in a major city. I just thought it worked beautifully. I really loved the score for this one. Now, Marco Beltrami did the first 2. Alexis Grappas, if I'm saying that name right, did the score for this one. And I actually went out and bought this score. It's just terrific. I really like it. It was very simplistic, but very eerie. But yeah, if you can't tell, I love this film. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. It really just, it delivered in ways that I didn't think it was going to. I really didn't know what to expect from this. And it left me, the way that it concluded, on a very emotional note. One that has stuck with me even a week after seeing it. I loved everybody in it, and I'm really excited to see what they'll do in another film. I've heard that they're going to make a continuation of where Quiet Place Part 2 left off. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, absolutely fantastic film, one of the best films of the year. Go out and check it out if you haven't already. I'm glad it's doing buku numbers at the box office because they deserve it. I'm curious what everyone else thinks about the film. Please leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Would love to hear from everyone. And as always, thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace. One thing I want to also showcase real quickly, because I already put the poster up, but they had these free posters. Sorry about the ceiling fan, but they had these free posters at the theater, and I just think this is a terrific representation of this movie and the themes of this movie. I just love it. It's really, really cool. I'll zoom in on it a little bit. Again, sorry about the fan going in here, but Really, really cool poster. If they have these at your theater, I definitely recommend grabbing one. Hey, my fellow Fright Fiends, I just want to thank everyone for supporting BoogeyMan Ben's Horror Zone. If you haven't yet subscribed and you'd like to, please hit the subscribe button down below. Click the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I try to drop a video at least once or twice a week. The Horror Zone is a passion of mine, and it really makes me happy that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace.